Thank you for the support. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, this is QYMaple. So the gear stats guide that I mentioned making before is finally here. Rather than saying it's finally here, I should actually thank Lootbar for rushing me, which cured my procrastination for this video. Lately, I've been using Lootbar, the safest and most affordable trading platform out there. Their prices are 12% cheaper than official stores. For example, a $99 pack costs only $79 here, saving you nearly 20 bucks. It's 100% safe. You only need your UID, never your password. The self-top-up through their secure cloud device is instant and super easy. Plus, Lootbar has a 4.9 rating on Trustpilot with a 7-day refund guarantee. Don't miss out. Sign up through my link below to get an extra 6% off new user coupon, saving you 18% in total. Go check it out. I've already covered the gameplay of re-rolling stats in my Loonhaven video, so if you're not familiar with it yet, go check it out. Those who have already entered Loonhaven should have already seen the official notes inside the exclamation mark, so I won't waste any more words here. Let's get straight to the point. The ranking of stats is divided into 3 major categories. The first category consists of stats that can accompany players permanently, such as crit rate plus accuracy, crit rate plus crit damage, crit resistance plus block plus block efficiency, debuff damage boost, attribute to attack conversion, shield damage resistance, and so on. Because these stats can be inherited in the new season, you can think of them as stats that will stay with you forever. However, please note that while inheriting within a season does not consume Divine Craft Stones, the amount of Divine Craft Stones consumed across seasons will increase drastically with the number of stats you need to inherit. Therefore, the vast majority of whales will choose to inherit 2 stats per piece of gear, so they will stop re-rolling their gear once they hit 2 desired stats. Another thing to keep in mind is that each stat has its own numerical range. If you have many stats, for instance, if all 8 of them are low roll crit damage compared to 8 maximum rolls of 23% crit damage, you will miss out on 64% crit damage. Although there's no need to intentionally give up those lower stats just for maxed out stats, it is indeed something to watch out for. Sometimes you might re-roll some unique stats, such as dodge. While these stats aren't absolute must-haves, I personally recommend keeping them. The second category consists of temporary stats, such as single stat types like crit rate, accuracy, block, crit damage, and so on. Since the inheritance cost across seasons is fixed for everything, it's very obvious that the inheritance value of these stats is far inferior to the top-tier stats in the first category. Why are they temporary stats? Because for casual players, they cannot obtain gear through the auction house, nor do they have enough Donium to buy Divine Craft Stones to re-roll their gear themselves. So for them, even if the inheritance cost is the same, rather than starting from scratch every season, it's better to inherit them first and then consider re-rolling them away at some point in the future. Five lines of crit rate can provide around 40% crit rate, so it really shouldn't be underestimated. Some players just inherit a single stat each season and then use 100 Divine Craft Stones to re-roll again. Compared to the massive cost of 1,200 per re-roll later on, this is indeed an affordable choice for free-to-play players. The third category consists of filler stats. It's not that they are completely useless, but they are absolutely not worth inheriting. Examples include things like attack, defense, and so on. There are also some stats that look pretty good, like increased damage dealt to summons, which are all just filler. There's not much to say about this. Everyone knows it. The types of stats required by each class are different. Since in this game, your crit rate needs to exceed the opponent's crit resistance before it starts taking effect, developing a well-rounded stat distribution is usually not a suitable choice for casual players. Perhaps, as a sorcerer, you manage to re-roll a maxed out block plus block efficiency stat, but if you don't plan on playing a tanky sorcerer, this stat is largely useless to you. While it's not completely worthless, you can at least list it on the auction house for players who need it. I have a complete guide for all class stats in Discord, so you can go check it out. I'll put the link in the description and comment section. However, even if it is a guide, it doesn't mean it applies perfectly to every single player on a one-to-one basis. For example, if you are a sage focusing on healing, then obviously the priority of healing boost will be far higher than the ranking I made in this chart. Please keep in mind that the rankings here are made for the vast majority of players. I've also noticed myself that people in my own server don't seem to like rerolling stats. It's might possible they want to wait until the prices drop further before buying. But for me, even if I don't reroll stats, I can still rank first across the entire server. Still, it's obviously much more satisfying to one-shot all the other players, right? Especially in the cross-server 4v4, that kind of thrill is something relics and skills just can't give you. Once the prices drop and everyone starts re-rolling stats, you will no longer have the chance to experience one-shotting players of the same spending tier in a single turn. So I wonder how everyone plans to choose stats for their own class. What are your thoughts on the rankings in this video? Do you have any better recommendations? Feel free to share your views in the comment section. That's all for this video. If you like my video, please leave a like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.